back, baby.
Offense, you know what to do.
It's football time in Tennessee.
Huh?
Yes, you know.
Get me Tennessee.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 1796 Sports Podcast. Another episode, another week of football coming up. Me and Ryan are going to talk about the Arkansas game coming up this weekend in Fayetteville. Another SEC road game for the Vols. Honestly, I think this game will probably be a little bit easier than Oklahoma after all the hype from, the Josh Heupel thing and all that. But the Vols look to come in and, continue the winning streak. The goal is to get to 5-0 and get to that homestand that we were talking about earlier a couple podcasts ago. But this Arkansas team kind of feels like a trap game. Obviously, as fans, we're looking at it a different way. The team's probably not as worried as we are. But Ryan, what's your initial thoughts on Arkansas? They played A&M last week. They lost by single digits. They actually played pretty well, but A&M is not that good. They're playing with a third-string quarterback, so...
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas, they're certainly better than what I expected them to be before the year started. They have some talented players, but at the end of the day, Tennessee is just more talented, and that's all there is to it. But it doesn't mean Tennessee can go in there and overlook them. It doesn't mean Tennessee's not going to have to play well to beat them. You're still on the road in the SEC, which is a hard thing to do, to go in on the road and win in the SEC unless you're going to Nashville to play the Commodores. So Tennessee will have to be on their A game, but I like our chances.
Yeah, again, what I took away from, because that was like the one game I really paid attention to just because we were playing them this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, A&M was after Green all day. Like,
yeah.
That dude was running out of the pocket a lot. And I just expect a whole lot of that coming with our defensive line. Obviously, Taylor Green could run. He's definitely a dual threat. He throws better on the run than he does when he's in the pocket. Now, another thing you got to worry about with this team is Mr. Jackson in the backfield. But, I mean, A&M held him to 37 yards, 3.7 a carry. He didn't really do much when it came to the run game. So, they have things. I'm not worried about them on the defensive wise. I think our offense is going to have a heyday when it comes to running the ball because Le'Veon Moss ran all over Arkansas. And with our high tempo, I just don't think Arkansas is going to be able to keep us off the scoreboard. And again, our defense has been playing stellar. I think Tennessee is going to win this game very comfortably and just asserting their dominance. I think Tennessee is, again, going to, of course, after this game, and let's say we win, it's going to be, Arkansas is not good. So Tennessee hasn't really been tested yet. It's going to keep going to that until we get to the Alabama game. But, again, this is a game where you can't let up. I get they're 3-2, but they're better. I think they're better than 3-2. They should have won the game last week if they, other things planned out a different way.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a game Tennessee can't overlook. Like I said earlier, just talking about their offense, I mean, it's kind of weird. They gain a lot of yards, but they don't score as much as you think they would. I mean, their quarterback, he is third in the SEC in passing, seventh in the SEC in rushing, and then, like you said, Jaquindon Jackson is leading the SEC in rushing. They have a receiver who's third in the SEC and Andrew Armstrong in receiving, but they just don't score as much as you think they would. So that tells me that they're prone to mistakes. Like you said, Green was running for his life the whole game against Texas A&M. I mean, it was incredible. Like, they were in the backfield almost every single snap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just I mean, obviously Tennessee can't go in there and say, okay, they lost last week to a average or, good, but I would suspect average A&M team on a neutral site. But it's still a game that Tennessee's going to have to, be ready for. But to me, like you said, their defense ain't like their game against Oklahoma State, where Arkansas gained 600 yards on offense. It was like 650, I think, but they still lost the game because they made mistakes and the defense couldn't get stops when they needed to. And I don't know if you've watched Oklahoma State, but I'm not very impressed with them. They don't look great to
No.
me. And furthermore, they were tied with UAB at halftime in Fayetteville in week 2, and UAB got hammered by Louisiana Monroe, 32-6. So, like I said, just take care of business. Like this ain't like, and you said too, Le'Veon Moss had a day, but to me, the place where you can attack them is in the passing game. They have the 89th best pass defense. So we're talking about Nico. We want to see him announce himself, stat wise. I think he's already announced himself just as a leader and a winner. But stat wise, I think this weekend is a big opportunity for Nico to really go out and light it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we said it before we even started the podcast. We are probably the healthiest we've been since week 1. And you expect Lance Hurd to be back. You expect John Campbell to be playing on that right side. You got Spraggins and Cooper. You got a healthy offensive line here. I think Tennessee is going to start with the run game. Of course, you're going to get that run game to where they're going to have to stack the box, and then Nico's going to go to work. I mean, and then we also have the 12 personnel if we need it. And again, there's just so much looking forward for this Tennessee team. Is take this game serious, win it, get back home. You got 4 games in a row at home, and they're big games, big games. Florida, Bama, Kentucky, State. They're all coming to your house in a row, and it's time to take care of business. And that, I'm telling you, this team's special. They just have to get past this little trap. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about this Arkansas team. Again, I think Tennessee's going to travel really well to Arkansas. So, yeah, I think Tennessee's going to be doing what it's got to do. The defense is going to be the defense you expect. And again, like you said, Nico is going to have a day. They're going to get the running game going. The tempo is going to be flowing. A little play action, a little read option, and someone's going to be 20 yards past whoever's covering them. So, I mean, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I get the anxiety from certain parts of our fan base about this game. I really do. I mean, people are so scarred from 2022 when a very similar situation going to South Carolina and you didn't play well. I mean, obviously it was later in the season, but it's similar. A team that you're more talented than, that has a decent offense and a decent quarterback, and you just didn't show up. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think we have better leadership. I mean, Nico, you can't ask for a better leader on offense, and I don't think you could ask for a better leader on defense than Keenan Peely. And I think Josh Heupel has grown as a coach too. He's won games this year, mainly the Oklahoma game, in a way, where it's not anything he wants to do or is accustomed to doing, not anything the fan base was accustomed to seeing, and him sitting on the ball. But he knew that was the best shot at them winning that game comfortably, and we did. And talking about, the expectations, the goalpost moving every time Tennessee dominates a team, I mean, it's just expected at this point when people talk about the media covering Tennessee. Like, it's like if you've watched the game and you look at the eye test when you're watching Tennessee, they've dominated. Like, it's not like they've been in close games with NC State and Oklahoma. Like, you can look at the score of the Oklahoma game and say, oh, they only won by 10. Well, they covered the spread. Like, it's just annoying. And I'm sure, like you said, the same thing will happen if Tennessee goes out and covers the spread against Arkansas. So, just annoying.
Well, I
Very,
think we cover the spread easily. I think again, you could beat. I think if Tennessee beat Arkansas by 30, they're still going to be like, oh, well, Arkansas is not a team to worry about. And it's not going to be, because then then Florida comes to town. Let's say you beat Florida by 21. Again, Florida's not the Florida we know, and they're just going to be like, oh, it's just Florida. Tennessee's going to have to beat Bama to open people's eyes and make them talk about that. And that's me. If I'm Josh Heupel and it gets to that Bama game, and let's say you're undefeated, that's what I'm saying in the locker room. Be like, they don't think you could beat Bama, and it's time to prove it. Open their eyes, open the world's eyes today. You know,
Yeah.
like, and that's one game. You know, we'll talk about it when it comes around, because again, I'm not looking past Arkansas, but that's something right now. Just get 1-0 every week. That's it, 1-0 every week, and this team does that, and it kind of proved it against Oklahoma. You just played Kent State, beat them to death, and then you go into an Oklahoma game on the road and handle business. Like you said, realistically, that game was just, we could have scored more. We could have.
mm-hmm.
But he was just like, nope, I'm going to sit on it, waste all this time. So, yeah, I look forward to it. I think again, I don't think Tennessee loses this game, but you just got to be very careful.
Yeah. I mean, last week when Oklahoma went to Auburn choked that game away because they were still trying to pass. I mean, and now Heupel looks like a genius. That was the only way Oklahoma was gonna win that game last week against Auburn. And speaking of Auburn, I mean, Auburn kind of gave the game to Arkansas in week. I think it was week 4, when 2 weeks ago, and it's just Arkansas is a team that, you know, we're still early in the season, but I really don't think they've impressed against a decent opponent yet. You could argue it was impressive for them to go to Auburn and hold them to 14, but again, as annoying as Hugh Freeze is, he's kind of right. Like, they would have won that game most of the time if they didn't throw the ball away, and that's been Auburn's MO this year. But
Auburn's not good. Auburn is not good. And again, I expected Arkansas to win that game. Auburn doesn't have a quarterback. Like, they just don't. And they also let Talon Green just run all over him. He literally ran the ball 18 times.
Yeah. And I mentioned the UAB game earlier that Arkansas played in week 2. Talon Green against the UAB defense was 11 of 26 for 161 yards and 1 interception. So, do we really think UAB's defense is better than Tennessee's?
No, and he also only scored 24 against Auburn.
Yeah. I mean, like I said at the beginning of this, like, their offense gains yards, but they're mistake prone. I mean, the thing about Talon Green is he either looks like a Heisman contender scrambling and making plays, or he looks like a high schooler making some dumbass plays. Like, and shout out to Addison Nichols. He's a part of their pressure on offense. Who is a captain, by the way. I think you mentioned that to me, Jim, before we started. Kind of doing what Oklahoma did, making Nichols and Slaughter captains for this one. And did you see? I don't remember who said it this week, but they said nobody's on the team has talked to Slaughter since he left, and they said we'll just talk to him on Saturday.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Yeah.
Again, this team doesn't care. This team wants to win. That's it. And when you get on the field, you ain't friends.
No.
Off the field after the game, that's fine. But on the field, you ain't friends.
No.
And Amari Thomas, Omar Norman Mott, they're going after Nichols. That's it. Like they're gonna try. Like if I'm them, I'm embarrassing you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Texas A&M was, like we've said, all over them, and to this point, I think we're better than Texas A&M on defense. Like I know Texas A&M was always talented on the defensive front. I mean, we saw it last year, Jim. Um, that rock fight in Neyland. I mean, it was a tough, hard fought, physical game, which I think also will benefit Tennessee going into this one. Tennessee's coming off a bye week, and Arkansas is coming off that. I mean, I'm sure they're black and blue on the offensive line and the defensive line in both trenches because Texas A&M was a physical team. Say what you want about them, say they're boring and all this, but they beat you up. So that's another benefit for Tennessee heading into this one.
Yeah. Again, I think Tennessee's defensive line is going to bully this offensive line. They're going to stop the run when it comes to the running back, but it's just all I'm worried about. I'm not really worried about Talon Green. It's just like contain him with the run. I mean, as long as you have someone watching him and keeping, because he's gonna have to run out of the pocket a lot on Saturday, and it's just don't let him get 5-10 yards and occasionally the one burst out play. Again, I'm not even really worried about this game. It is like this is the only game on our schedule that that really yells like trap game to me.
Yeah, I mean the way the schedule is set up, this is your only tough road game before you get to Georgia now, and we've already passed the test at Oklahoma, and that's another thing going into this one is that Tennessee's done this already 2 weeks ago. They're not going to be surprised by a lesser environment in Arkansas. I think that's safe to say. Oklahoma has a better environment. In Arkansas's, this is their biggest home game thus far, and they're striping their stadium and all this, which is fun to see because, for a long time, nobody on Tennessee's schedule would make a special effort throughout the fans or wear different jerseys for a Tennessee game. Like, people know that when Tennessee comes to town, it's going to take a little something extra, a little more hype around the game for them to play better and have a chance.
Again, I don't think the fans are gonna be gone by halftime.
I mean, that's
I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I really think that. I really think because I think Tennessee's defense is that good, and I think our offense is gonna just get back to. I mean, Arkansas's defense is not spectacular, and our tempo is gonna really throw them off. A&M was going slow, and Tennessee's gonna be up and moving, get it going. And I know Addison Nichols and all them are telling them that. I just don't. You can't get ready for that in a week.
No, and Tennessee coming off a bye week, Josh Heupel coming off a bye week has been excellent. He hasn't lost off a bye week at Tennessee yet, and I think he only lost once coming off a bye week at UCF. Like, that's another thing that we'll probably see a new wrinkle. We'll probably have Cam Seldon back in the fold comfortably. We'll be getting him the ball. I know Bishop has played incredibly in his absence. I mean, and that's another thing. Do you think Bishop is now RB2 ahead of Seldon?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing against Seldon. It's just Bishop took his opportunities and ran with it. I mean, Bishop has been stellar. I mean, look at the Oklahoma game. He's the one that started the little run game to get Sampson going.
Mm-hmm.
And Bishop's been excellent, in my opinion. Dude, him in the backfield, man, it's just so awesome to see how patient he is looking for those holes.
Yeah.
Like he just finds where he needs to go, and he reminds me a lot of Jalen Wright.
Yeah, that's somebody that you would like to be compared to as a running back too. I mean, he's just the perfect change of pace. I mean, honestly, he's very similar to how I foresee Seldon looking whenever he is fully back in the fold, which he might be on Saturday. But like you said, Bishop, I think he's played too well for him to not be RB2 at this point. He's just Bishop just runs hard, and you can tell he knows what he's doing. He has good vision, and he's not afraid to run over anybody. He breaks tackles.
Dude, and what about the play where he ran all the way down the field to stop something? Like
Mm-hmm.
he plays with heart, and you like. Don't get me wrong, Selden's going to play, but I expect all 3 running backs to be playing.
Yeah, I mean, this like I know earlier. I said this could be the chance for Nico to come out facing a back end passing defense as far as rankings in the country so far. But we all know Tennessee is going to establish the run game and go from there, or establish the passing game and then run the ball. I mean, no matter what, they're going to be running the ball more than they're passing. Like, I don't check me on this. I'm pretty sure this is accurate, but I don't think there's been a game where we've passed more than we've ran under Heupel. It might have happened less than 5 times in 40-something games now. Like, Tennessee pounds the rock. So, yeah, I think all 3 running backs will get at least 5 to 10 carries this week. So right now, Dante Thornton is still our leading receiver, and Nico has only passed the ball 88 times this year. Like, it's just something we haven't had to do yet, and I really think Saturday's gonna be the day for Nico. I think he's gonna throw for 300 yards for the first time since the Chattanooga game, and like you said, if all goes well, it could happen in the first half.
The way I look at it is I think the score at half is going to be either like 21 or 24 balls. I think Arkansas will probably score once, and that's if. I'm being generous giving them a touchdown. I think 21-7 going into half, and depending on how the coin flip turns out, and if Tennessee comes out at half with the ball, game's over.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine Tennessee is clicking on all cylinders on offense, and the defense is forcing Green into mistakes. Like, it could be worse than that. A lot worse before halftime. Like, given the offense is clicking short fields, we could see something like the Missouri game in 2021 when we went up there in Heupel's first year and we're winning, like, I think it was 45-10 at halftime. It was something. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was something outlandish, and that was really the announcement to the country that Josh Heupel was a good offensive coach, even in the SEC.
Well, yeah. Again, that's kind of what this game should be, and I could see Tennessee putting up 60 against this Arkansas team. I'm just trying to be a little bit realistic. But it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I mean, so far Arkansas is 47th in total defense, but like I said, I mean, they let that Oklahoma State team get back in the game against them without Ollie Gordon really doing much. I mean, I will give this to Arkansas. They have a good run defense, but then again, last week when they played a decent opponent and a decent running back, Le'Veon Moss ran all over them. And safe to say Dylan Sampson is better than Le'Veon Moss. Safe to say Texas A&M's backup is not as good as Deshaun Bishop or Cameron Seldon. Like, much like this will be Tennessee's first test against it'll probably be the best offense the defense has played against this year to this point, but it'll also be the best offense their defense has played this year. And I think our defense is better. I mean, obviously. So,
well, Tennessee and Ohio State are the only 2 teams with a top 5 scoring offense and a top 5 scoring defense. So, again, I'm not really worried about it. So, it's going to be a good weekend. But yeah, what are we thinking? What are you thinking on the score wise? What are you starting to see?
So the what was published in our article posted yesterday, I had 41 to 13. I think once we get up, Heupel's going to pound the rock and just set on the game because he knows, much like the Oklahoma game, that's the only chance they'll have to get back into it. So I'm not seeing a 50 to 60 point score, but I am seeing low 40s, and I think we just dominate their offensive line. Like if you're only scoring 17 against A&M, like I think our defense is better, and I think we'll hold them to even less than that. So that's what I'm foreseeing right now as far as the score, 41 to 13.
Yeah, I'm sitting right around that. I put 42. I think I said, what did I put? 42 to 17. Just being generous. Again, the defense could show out and they might not even score a touchdown, and it's very possible. But again, I just don't see Arkansas's defense keeping Tennessee under 30 points. And again, I just don't see Arkansas putting up that many points against us. So, again, I think Tennessee will easily beat Arkansas on the road, get back home to a little homestand, and really this season, people think it's like, oh, we're good, we're gonna be good. After you win this game, it's really gonna open some people's eyes. Go like, okay, here you go. Now you're the home team. Go handle business. And if we could sneak a game, listen, 11-1 is in sight, because realistically, you just have to beat Bama or Georgia, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think after this game, I'm really positive on 10-2 at least.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all about. I mean, this game to me, I wrote about this on Tuesday. Like, this game is a test of the culture in the program. Like, you either come out and dominate them like you're supposed to against a far less talented team, or you go out and, give us all heart palpitations and have a close game and, God forbid, lose. Like, if the culture is where we think it is in this program right now under Josh Heupel, this is a game Tennessee goes out and handles business in. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why this game, you don't really have much to talk about, especially coming off a bye week for us. Again, fully healthy, for the most part. I mean, you're pretty much fully healthy, but again, like you said, Josh Heupel is very, very good off a bye week, and Arkansas is definitely beat up a little bit. Their emotions are down. I mean, you took a second loss on the season already, 3-2.
Yep.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, even when you're the home team. Again, if Tennessee comes in and plays their ball, it's gonna be curtains for Arkansas pretty early.
Yeah, I mean that's all there is to it. I mean, really, it's about Tennessee rising to the occasion, and because this is a new challenge for Tennessee this year. Like, our two big games before this against NC State and Oklahoma, both teams were ranked. Like, there was no not getting up for the game. Like, you were going to be ready to play against a ranked team. But like I said, if the culture is good, you're going to be ready to play on the road against a decent SEC team too. It doesn't matter if they're ranked or not. If you're, going to do what you're supposed to do this year, this has got to be a game that you leave no doubt. Like, I mean, if Tennessee wins a close one, I won't be too concerned. You got out of there with a win, but it will raise some red flags for me.
Yeah, well, I think if Tennessee covers the spread, even if it's just a spread, I'd be happy. I mean, it all depends how the game turns out. I mean, like we talked about the Oklahoma game. I mean, we didn't expect it to be like that, but hey, you won the game. That's all that matters. Get that W in the column and move on to the next. Stay healthy as best you can. Move on to the next. 1-0 every week, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we all predicted a similar score against Oklahoma. We gave their offense a little more credit than they showed, but then you had your two tackles go down. You saw that the only way Oklahoma was going to win was nonsense strip sacks, and we, like we said earlier, sat on the game. So yeah, but still, based on the eye test in that game, Tennessee dominated. So good point though. It'll all depend on the game flow. I want to talk about now I kind of mentioned it earlier, the collective nervousness of some portions of the fan base, and most of their reasoning is, but we haven't won down there since 2001, and you know, going on the road and blah blah blah, and all this just nonsense. Listen, Tennessee is not coached by Jeremy Pruitt or Derek Dooley anymore, and it's just the three times we've been there since 2001. The first time was 2006 when they had Darren McFadden and one of their best teams since the turn of the century. In 2011, another one of their best teams since the turn of the century, and we had Derek freaking Dooley, and we lost 49-7. I mean, is that really that surprising? One of the worst teams in Tennessee football history. And then the last time we were there was 2020 under Jeremy Pruitt and his dumb bald ass, where he played three quarterbacks, and it's just actually I think he played four quarterbacks, and we lost like 24-13 against Felipe Franks. Like, you're talking about two of the worst Tennessee teams of all time, in 11 and 20, and then a game in 2006 where Arkansas was on top of the world. Like, that really doesn't matter. Like, right now, Tennessee is a better team than Arkansas, and there shouldn't be much worry at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not really worried. Like I said, it's like, it's just, you always have that one game on your schedule where you're like, I don't know why about, like, this game feels weird, like, or it can go weird if that's the right answer, you know. But you know, again, I'm not worried. I think Tennessee should win this game and will win this game. And again, I really don't care how much it's by as long as you win. So
yeah, it's just so annoying to me when, like, like I said, I understand that, you know, people are scarred from Tennessee being so bad, but that's not how it is anymore. This team is good. We're more talented than a lot of teams we're going to face this year, besides two. And even in those games, you get one at home and one on the road against the Georgia team that was susceptible to a lot of things on offense that Tennessee can do. And it's just a different era now. I don't think the worry should be that great. And some of these people on Twitter that I've seen. But last thing that I want to touch on, Jim, unless you have anything else, similar point. If we do end up wearing orange helmets, I'm so happy because it'll be nice to get that stupid perceived jersey curse off the back from that South Carolina game in 2022.
yeah, people. I mean, South Carolina cheated wearing wristbands. They haven't worn wristbands since that game, so kind of weird. But yeah, the whole jersey thing, the whole team, the whole, like, stadium BVS shit that everyone talks about. Just get over it. That ain't it. This team's different. The talent is way better than it used to be. So let's not worry about it.
I agree. And, like, the other thing to me that people seem to forget, just talking about the jersey and what, you know, they wear, like, the team, like, picks what they wear. So they're obviously not too damn worried or believe in a curse if there's any rumblings about us wearing an orange helmet on Saturday. So if the team's not worried about it, they're confident, the culture's good, you shouldn't worry about it either. Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that's it for this one. Like I said, I mean, this podcast, I kind of knew it was going to be a little bit shorter just because of just the opponent. We've also been on a bye week, so it's a little bit different. But I think everyone should. You could look at the article that 1796 put out. You can see everyone's score predictions. We're all about the same. So, and we're not the only ones that that think that. There's a reason why Vegas has us as a 2-touchdown favorite, and that's actually, I think, being generous. I think that's a steal of a line, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Vols continue their streak onto the homestand, and we're about to be inside Neyland for a couple weeks in a row.
Almost a month. Well, 5 weeks and 4 games. There's a bye week in there, but yeah, massive homestand coming up. Before we end it, Jim, I want to hear, who do you think leads the Vols in receiving? Who do you think leads in rushing? And who do you think has the most tackles?
So I think Keenan Peele is going to have the most tackles. I think he's going to have to be all over the field. He's probably going to be the one really watching Taylor Green in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll have the most tackles. I think receiving, honestly, I think this is going to be the day of Squirrel White. I mean, Squirrel White has been fine, but he hasn't had that explosive game. I think Squirrel White's finally going to get a couple deep balls his way when we open up the pass game with the run game. And rushing, I think it's going to be Dylan Sampson, just because, I mean, that's our guy. I think he'll lead in rushing. I think Bishop will be close to him. He's going to get plenty of snaps, I think. Maybe with Seldon being healthy, it might be a little bit different, but I think Sampson leads the way.
Gotcha. For me, as far as tackles go, I also like Keenan Peele because I do think he'll be the main spy if we go that route. For receiving, give me Brew again, much like he led in receiving against Oklahoma. I just think he's on one this year. He's the security blanket, and he's a good deep threat too. And rushing, this is why I even asked all this, Jim. I really think coming out of a bye week, I think our wrinkle will be Nico keeping the ball. And I think he could run for close to 100 yards just on a couple big plays that pop off, whether it be a quarterback draw where the middle of the field is open or a read option where they're not expecting it. I'm going with Nico to lead the Vols in rushing.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, for sure. But that's all I got, Jim, unless you got anything else.
No, I think it's a good time for Go Vols, and we're about to be 5-0 since, since what, 2022? I think, yeah, because we lost to Florida last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we could be, technically, we'll be what, 6-0 if we beat Florida, and it'll be Bama coming to town? My God. Talk about crazy environment. Florida's going to be crazy just because it's a night game. But if Alabama and Tennessee are both undefeated going in to that week, we're going to be primetime.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be primetime. And you thought Florida's going to be crazy because it's tonight? Wait till it's freaking Alabama, 2 good teams. That place is going to be rocking, and I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, just two little games to take care of business in before you're...
Just 2 little speed bumps.
Yep, absolutely. But last thing I'll say is go Vols.
Go Vols, baby.